Welcome back to Wish for Death Island, Population Spooky Asylum.
Full spectral apparition.
When I was 12 or 13, I discovered found footage for the first time. I wasn't new to horror, but mostly in book form, and Paranormal Activity was all the rage, and I hated it. But I wanted something else. I wanted something edgier, and that was when I found Grave Encounters. And boy, is it edgy. This movie is the pinnacle of so bad it's good, for found footage horror at least, whether it's cliches, bad writing, bad lines, or the best special effects in the game. This has remained something I've called the most hilariously bad horror movie I've ever seen to this day, and let me tell you why. So let me set the scene for you. It opens with this producer who has some weird story to tell you. His name is Jerry, not that Jerry. He tells us he works on a show called Grave Encounters about this ghost shit. Like, bullshit basically. Everything is going well until...
Everything was, going really smoothly. I mean, the edits that were coming back looked great. We were very excited. We really had something, and then, of course, they got to episode 6.
The spooky ghost team want to go to a spooky asylum, because of course they did, and of course the spooky asylum is full of people who mysteriously died due to their own insanity. The spooky cast all spookily went mysteriously missing in 2003, along with all the tapes. But it wasn't until 2010 that the tapes just appeared. They said they found it, but I have no idea why or how. They kind of just gloss over it. As I said, we'll get further into this and you'll realize why I'm so confused. So this guy gets this footage from all these people who have been missing for months and years. And when you finally see what happens to them as the producers of the paranormal show, you don't try to investigate with all of the resources that you have to try and figure it out, and instead just edit all of the footage into a nice little movie with lots of spooky music and angles and release it to the public under the guise of it being a movie instead of investigating about this team that you apparently care about. Makes sense. So then we get to see the opening of the show with Lance Preston, the ghost leader, dude, and the host. This is the one nice thing that I have to say about this movie, and I don't actually know if it's by accident or not. What they actually do is an incredibly accurate job of mimicking the shows like Ghost Adventures and some other cheesy, fake, low-budget TV shows that you might see on Discovery Channel and whatnot. You know what I mean, the ominous stock effects, the fog, the darkness, the gravestones, the font, even the name. It's actually a very accurate parody and I really appreciate that. But with that one nice thing, I have to say, I really wonder if this was intentional with the parody because of the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie is so unself-aware, and this is so self-aware, that I think this might be something that they actually thought looks good and it came out as a parody of itself. I don't know. So this is the crew performing for you. If you know the words, you can join into. There's Lance, the host, Girl, Black Guy, Cameraman, Incel, and Fabio Dick, the fake psychic. I don't actually remember what his real name is, but he seems like the type. Okay, for real, Lance is full of himself, the girl is some medium called Sasha, and the cameraman is named Matt. TC is the tech dude that works with him, and there's a fake medium whose name is Houston, that's it, who is hired to be a guy who does fake ghost visions, but they tell him the information beforehand. The incel looking guy is the caretaker who is in the movie for a minute. He has one of the best scenes in the movie, the acting is amazing, and I have to show you.
I'm standing here with the resident gardener, Javier Ortega. Javier, have you ever seen anything strange in the past 10 years of working here?
Yeah, I saw a ghost over here. It was really scary.
A ghost on the exterior of the building. Unbelievable. This is really a paranormal hotspot.
But for the 5th episode of the show, which they're filming now, they're investigating the abandoned Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital that's haunted by spooky demons and has a spooky dark past. This isn't the in real life equivalent of a Unity asset, not at all, does not look generic at all, I don't know what you're talking about. So the team enters the asylum and learn that it was closed because of a Dr. Arthur something something. What was his last name? Frieddick?
Could you tell us about Arthur Friedkin?
Friedkin.
Arthur Friedkin?
Who did inhumane experiments on the patients. They're satanic, aren't they? I'm calling it now. The twist is that they're satanic. Everyone is always satanic. No one is just a killer in these movies. They're always satanic and they always summon demons and then everyone dies because of the demons that came from hell. Haha, we're so quirky and relatable from behind the scenes and everything is going super well for us. We're so happy to show the contrast of how horrifying things will be later compared to how happy we are now. We are real human. This is how you write a horror film. So as you can see, they decide to take a look at the hospital and take a tour of the hospital during the day, and everything is really kind of fake. They just find a bloody bathtub and find out that one of the patients killed themselves there, and I have no real reason why it still looks like a bloody bathtub, even though it was supposed to be many years ago. The nurse asks Sasha if she's okay, and she looks visibly shaken, and you think that this is something that will be like reincorporated later, or like, oh my god, she's gonna die there because she's gonna come back because the demons get into her mind because she's sympathetic of them, because she can relate to like trying to kill herself in her past. And it actually really confused me when I first watched it because I was wondering why that wasn't happening. But then, if you look at the movie, it's just a random bunch of spooky shit. Like, there's no actual reason. There's no payoff for this. It's just like one of those fake YouTube videos of those guys who walk around haunted locations. Basically, they set up surveillance cameras and equipment around the hospital and lock themselves inside for this entire night. The entire show has been set up so far to be the fakest of the fake, and they fake everything in its entirety. So why on earth would the one real authentic thing be to lock themselves inside? Isn't that the most dangerous thing? That's very convenient for the evil ghosts, right? Why wouldn't they just make it look like they locked themselves inside and then get some footage from the overnight cameras and not actually stay there? They just walk out the other door. It's so stupid. Okay, you know what? I changed my mind. These people can defend themselves perfectly fine. So, of course, everything is fine, but then the window opens and there are noises. So this is more my problem personally with the lore and mechanics of ghosts in general, but why do they always seem to move doors and windows to send their message across? Especially since they can do it in the camera's view when no one is even in the room. Like, if you're aware of the cameras, then why don't you just wait for one of them to walk in by themselves before you show off? Like, especially if they're just random ghosts that have died way before, like, you don't even probably know how these modern cameras work, right? I don't know. And if you can move shit, why not just move a pen across some of the team's equipment, like a notebook or like a wall or something? Why don't you just write your message out in front of them so they can see that it's you, it's a ghost? I don't know. So after seeing some of this, they go to the basement because reasons. So they manage to record Sasha's hair getting molested and run away. After being freaked out, they decide to pack up and wait in the front room for the caretaker in the morning as the safest option. I mean, the safest option would have been to not lock yourself in here, but I'm not one to talk. So after deciding that it's super dangerous in here and they all need to stick together because they don't know what will happen, they decide that they should immediately split up by themselves and to get all the equipment. It's like these guys want to die. I can relate. It's no surprise that because of these stupid decisions, Matt disappears, and as they look for him, they also realize that the caretaker should be here by now, but he isn't, and they're still stuck in there. They go to rush the doors and finally realize that the exit is gone, and it's only another looping hallway. I guess this was a PT clone before PT clones, as well as being a Unity asset in real life. It's only another hallway, and they run upstairs and it's a dead end. The asylum is now a corpse party, I guess. They look at their phones and realize it's daytime, and there are only now realizations that it's still nighttime. Like, wasn't the caretaker coming during the daytime? As soon as the doors open into the hallway, shouldn't you have realized that was in the daytime? Because they keep looking at their watches and going, he should have been here by now, but then they look directly at the window and don't realize what's wrong and why it shouldn't be nighttime, but they're just like, nah, that's fine, until it's just not anymore. So they run around for a bit and go to sleep again, and the demon scratches a message on Sasha's back. Hello, it's your boy. They run around again and find a Blair Witch bootleg standing in the corner of the room. I guess she has a dental problem. As they run away, Fabio Dick gets separated and does a little dance before getting game ended. So now we're left with Lance, Sasha, and TC. TC is the best character. TC is Shakespeare. Listen to what elegant, verbose attitudes and monologues TC has to offer.
I told you that in the first place. If you guys weren't so busy, like, fucking camera. Fucking up. Fucking perfect. It doesn't look like I give a fuck about
No,
the
it doesn't.
brain. This fucking was bothering me for. I'm tired of this shit. I want to go home.
So they go to sleep again and realize that they've all been fitted with these hospital bracelets with their names on them. So I guess they're patients now. That's the thing that the demons do. The demons are very supportive of mental health. So they find Matt, who's gone completely batshit, and he's in the room with the bloody bathtub, and oh, it's full of tomato sauce now. Epic gamer moment is gonna happen. Rub-a-dub-dub. Good night, sweet Shakespeare. So they go to find the elevator, but it won't open, and Lance needs to go find a thing to open it by himself. Gee, I wonder if something bad will happen. So he gets a pipe from the gurney and spooky ghost attacks him, but Sasha rushes in to the rescue and they struggle for a bit. Meanwhile, Matt decides that he's had enough of this movie. He looks like he did it by accident too. It's honestly hilarious. That look on his face just makes everything amazing. So Sasha and Lance are on their own now. So they go back to the tunnel and Sasha starts coughing up blood. Cancer joke here. So when they stop to rest, again, Sasha disappears somehow. Okay, I don't get this. Sidebar. For anyone else, when they get visibly or violently murdered and taken away, it's like a clear reason for what happened, like, oh, the bathtub took him, he did a dance or something, like they clearly show it. But for Sasha, she just gets covered by the molester mist and she starts like disappearing. So I don't know if it's like she got dissolved or something, or they just ran out of special effects and they decided to just cop out. So I guess she died from smoker's lungs or something, I don't know. So Lance is on his own now and he decides, oh, I'm dead anyways, might as well just eat rats now. So of course he discovers the sacrificial ulcer and he discovers that the patients are being sacrificed to Satan by the doctor. Well, color me surprised. So the doc's ghost drags him away and the camera cuts and then conveniently cuts back on Lance being like cliche insane and rambling about how he's all better now and he can go home. And then he just stops doing that completely and does his outro. So he's just like being driven completely insane and then all of his friends are murdered. And he still has time to put the camera on and be like, no, I must do outro, like and subscribe. And that's the movie. I haven't looked this up yet, but I know that there are people out there and that think that this is real. There are. Whenever there's found footage, some idiot out there will actually think it's real. And you know, I don't think I actually have to look this up because the movie itself actually talks about this. Oh no, not this movie. The sequel.